Welcome back, gentlemen. The Sweet 16 is finally here, and with me always is Mr. Gaff and Dave, just Dave, as always. Gentlemen, wow, what a round of 32. Spectacular to say the least. I know we're really looking forward to our show today. You might see a guest appearance or two, who's to say. I say let's get right into it. Right, Kev?
Absolutely. Well, let's go ahead and start here in review. Going into the Devotee region, Oklahoma spent some big money to easily move on, beating Middle Tennessee State, 1,570 in donations to $50. Just an absolute steamrolling from Oklahoma, which, let's be honest, we've come to expect. We've been talking about this the entire tournament. This is a powerhouse of a program that they've got at Oklahoma. So not surprised to see that they're moving on. Juan, go ahead and lead us into your matchup here with Idaho against Western Kentucky, and how Brother Allsacker absolutely made me eat my lunch with that pick from last week. Talk to us a little bit about that matchup.
Absolutely. I know Oklahoma is the favorite of Devotee, but you can't forget about the number 2 seed, Idaho. These Vandals are showing that they deserve to be in this region, absolutely dunking on Western Kentucky. I mean, over $1,200 difference. I mean, it might be one of the biggest disparities of the round, proving once again they're not a team to be trifled with.
Yeah, exciting to see the 2 seed coming out on top there, just taking care of business. As we move over to Cockrell, this was probably easily our biggest donation, of the probably year of the tournament from this round and in this region. Indiana absolutely had a tester against Western Michigan. Final score was 1,651 to 1,155. Indiana raising the most money, but Western Michigan easily in the top 5 of donations. So that was definitely a nail biter all the way down to the end. Excited to see what's going to happen going into the Sweet 16 now that Indiana, had to spend a little bit of money. Their first couple of rounds, they had saved quite a bit with an easy matchup, but yeah, it should be a good one.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the Cockrell region really proved something this past round. I mean, Maryland raising over $1,300 just in time to beat Southern Miss at $725. Doesn't get any closer than that. I mean, Kev, do you have any special picks this round?
Yeah, I mean, I think here with Northern Illinois, with brother Mike Corelli taking on brother Spencer Long from Central Michigan, this matchup was really close. $1,145 to $950. I mean, that one came right down to the wire. Really, not surprised to see brother Corelli with Northern Illinois taking that lead and moving on to the next round. But definitely one that had a lot of potential for a good matchup, and it proved true. What a good matchup between those two there.
Yeah, they got the 3 seed this year, and they definitely deserved it. Looking at Florida Southern, our highest seed that's moving on to the Sweet 16, pretty impressive. I know Kevin was high on them with Brother Shadow in that province down there. They took care of business with Illinois. Absolutely whooping on $1,028 to 0. So Kevin, your prediction, you're one for one maybe, but maybe Florida Southern will keep moving on.
We'll see.
You can never discount the little guy. Moving on to Kerr, I mean, Texas wanting to prove they're the real UT in the SEC. I mean, coming up over an easy win over Kansas, that was no show. But again, Texas, an absolute powerhouse in the division. So moving right along. Kev or Dave?
Yeah, you're good. I think that's interesting too. Texas only having to spend $475 to move on when you have Oklahoma, Indiana, putting up big money that round. So we'll see what that happens down the stretch. My heart is broken, but we continue on here. Northern Iowa beat Indiana State, my chapter, and we somehow again stay alive, keeping the wild card. Indiana State still raising the most we've ever raised in this tournament, so that's exciting. But hats off to Northern Iowa. I think we'll have our guest on a little later for Northern Iowa. Probably put me in my place, but yeah, excited to see where that goes. But yeah.
Well, then here we got to also talk about the matchup that we talked a lot about going into this round of the competition, with Mother Mew at Alabama going on against Kentucky. The final total for that one came down to 450 to 395 in favor of Mother Mew. So happy Founders Day to where the whole thing started, because they're moving on to the next round after a really good matchup, winning with that, again, 450 to 395. So Mother Mew beats Kentucky in a nail biter there.
And moving on to Foster, I mean, Sister Jean providing no miracles here for Loyola. Nebraska laying an easy win here. We didn't really know what it was going to be, but Nebraska proving once again that they've earned that #1 seed. I mean, just a spectacular showing by them.
Yeah. Bucknell, too, number 12 seed, one of our last of the double-digit seeds remaining in this tournament. Took Indiana State out in that first round. We got the wild card, but still don't know where a Bucknell is or what a Bucknell is. But they beat Towson $860 to $500. They had to go all out to beat us. So nice for them to save a little bit this round. And then we had this Ohio matchup. You want to talk about it, Kevin?
I do. We called this one last time the battle for Skyline Chili. Mount Union wins the battle for Skyline Chili. No endorsement deal yet, so I can't say we're going to be providing Skyline Chili to our guys at Mount Union. But I'm going to be honest, this one, despite the seeding of this, I got to be honest. I thought that Cincinnati, given the history, the alumni base, I thought they were the for sure chapter going to take this one. Between this matchup, Mount Union with an absolute stunner. Again, I know that they're seeded 3 compared to a 6, but I really thought Cincinnati was going to be the one to pull this one off. So Mount Union continues their journey to the big dance. What a great showing from them. And this battle between these two really wasn't even as close as you might imagine. This one came down $1,044 to $421. So again, hats off to Mount Union. They continue and they move forward to the next round.
All right, Kevin. Now you're 1 for 2. It appears. So we got to get those numbers up.
I never made an official, so let's don't come for
rookie numbers. We got to pump those numbers up. All right.
Real quickly, just to talk. You'll see East Tennessee State and Georgia and DePaul and South Dakota State. Those were our wild card teams that replaced them, which was Western Michigan and Indiana State. So those teams will be matched up in those spots, as they only raised about $100 in one, and the winning team, the highest losing team replaces the lowest winning team as it goes. So that's our wild cards for this round.
Absolutely. And going right into the Sweet 16 with the big discussion topics, Dave, Kevin, I don't know. Is it time for a little surprise?
Yeah, definitely.
All right. And with our first guest, Jack Counts, thank you so much for joining us.
Sure. Gosh, watching you guys, y'all are so professional. You're really good at this. You really are. You're really good at it.
We try to do the best play-by-play possible.
Yeah, you did a good job. No, this is exciting to be in the midst of this rounds of 16 here. We're excited about today with Arizona. That's a great tradition. They've got, Brad Cohen was a ESA a few years ago, and Tom LaMancha was on the board, foundation board. And so we know that they are very capable of putting up some real strong numbers today. It's always hard to know how this is going to go, because some people don't do anything during the day. They wait till the very end. I just what I hate is if someone thinks they can't win, then doesn't put anything in at the end. Because I like people to play along during the day to get just some momentum and interest, and both sides put some money in during the day.
You're saying you don't want to bury them early. You want to give them a little glimmer of hope, and then crush them.
It's not that. We got a few years ago, we kind of got rammed on a deal where we didn't think anybody was going to put any money in, and then they did at the last second.
Yeah.
And that was disappointing to us. And so I actually wish we had some rules where people put some money in along the way.
Well, I'll pass that along to one of them board members you talked about. We'll see what we can do, but
I'm excited. I'm excited to be in the middle of it, and our group, we don't have an active chapter, and this is something we really kind of can pay attention to. We appreciate all the help nationals have doing to try to help us get a chapter back. But we got a bunch of great alums, and want to show our support for the fraternity, the foundation, and everything. So, and we got some very competitive people.
Of course.
And it's kind of funny because some of them I go, well, chill. We're going to need some money later too, So it's always hard to judge. What is the wild card amount today?
The wild card, to save you from the wild card, it'll be $2,000.
Yeah.
And we only have one going into this round, so only one team gets saved, and $2,000 keeps you safe from it if you win with 2,000 or more.
Yeah.
So,
gotcha. But what's the score? What are the scores right now?
Oh, I know you're winning. Take a look. I think Juan, you want to ask Jack a couple questions, and while I'm pulling that up.
Nothing comes to mind, but I'll see if I can come up with any on the fly here. Jack, I know you've been a long time captain for Oklahoma, and we really appreciate you and your support of the tournament. Is there any highlights of being a captain that you can recommend to invigorate more SAEs to become a captain, maybe even possibly for next year?
Well, we send out, some newsletters, emails, different times. Like we might be pushing emails for Third Thursday things that occur, emails for Giving Tuesday, and then we have a tailgate in the fall as home football games. And so there's usually 6 of those. And so we kind of have some emails I send out throughout the year. And right now we got emails going out for this, for March to Madness. So it's not like we don't send out anything all year long. It's we're kind of used to sending things out. I guess our list is fairly well refined as far as what good addresses there are and that kind of thing for it. And so sometimes we'll mention other things that are going on along with what we send out. But I keep it pretty simple. It's really funny. I've shared copies of it with some folks at National before. We deliberately don't try to make it super sophisticated looking, because we want to keep it where it's simple to do and kind of down home, I guess you can say. But people like to see the numbers, and the one thing we do put on there is we keep a cumulative total we send out of what people put in all the sessions so far. So I think that kind of gives everybody an idea who's in it, because we really want to get a lot of guys to participate, and we're glad to say people put $10 in. That's fine.
Yeah, and nationals can always help other chapters and team captains with those lists to get their own emails out. So that's a good promo, and definitely some words of wisdom for some of these higher seeded teams and things trying to get involved.
But did you come up with a score for right now?
Yeah, you guys are winning $756 to 0. So your fears of past might be coming back to haunt you, but we'll see. Maybe Tom Lamonti has got a little bit to throw.
Oh, I know those guys are very capable of hitting us a big amount. I just hope that they don't either totally sideswipe it to the very end, or worse yet, if they didn't put any money in at all, because we got some guys that watch it real close at the end.
Yeah.
So,
well, as always, you guys are the team to beat. It seems like the powerhouse of the tournament. So we'll be watching closely. I know that, and we'll be excited to see where this matchup goes.
Well, good. Well, thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for coming, Jack. It's always a good time.
Bye-bye.
All right, Kevin, and I'm going to give you one more chance here in the Devotee region. Cal State Fullerton versus Idaho. Who do you have?
Yeah, listen, I said earlier, Brother Allsacker, he made me eat my lunch on the last one. So I'm not picking against Idaho anymore going into this round. I got to go with Idaho. I'm taking them over Cal State Fullerton.
Yeah, I can give you a quick update. They're currently losing by $120. Cal State's up 170 to 50. So
okay,
we'll see what happens as the day goes on. We still got about 9 hours left in this thing. Moving on to Cockrell, we got Indiana versus Maryland. That should be a really great matchup with both those teams raising a bunch of money in the last round. And then Northern Illinois, Florida Southern. Kevin's got some little hometown love for your friends there in both of those. So who do you got winning that one?
This was a tough one. So Northern Illinois, for those of you who don't know, Mike Corelli, when he worked at Western Carolina, he recruited me for SAE. He also recruited me for staff. My entire SAE experience is credit to Mike Corelli. Florida Southern is a chapter that I covered as a chapter services consultant down there in the Southeast. So I have strong ties there. Obviously, great friends with Kyle Shadow. This is a tough one. This is a matchup that again I've been saying this for a lot of these chapters. I think this could be a tremendous matchup. I mean, we had an outright $1,000 donation come in for Florida Southern, so clearly they're ready to go. They want to win this. They want to play. So who do I have for this one? It's really tough. I'm going to give the edge to Northern Illinois. The Huskies are consistently a team that is hungry to win March to the Madness year after year. And I've got to give the edge to them solely based on that. Florida Southern is oftentimes involved with it, but they're really making their presence known this year. But I got to go with Northern Illinois for this matchup. I think they're gonna pull this one out. They're gonna have a really tough road ahead against Indiana or Maryland, whoever wins the next round. But should be a great matchup no matter what.
Yeah, I agree. We'll say bye to the little guy, number 15 seed, per Kevin's words.
All right, moving on to the Kerr region. I mean, definitely one of the ones to watch, Texas versus Northern Iowa. I think it's time for our next surprise guest. I think it's no shock that we'll be bringing on Matt Weinstein from Iowa Kai, Northern Iowa.
Hello, brothers.
Weinstein, great to have you. How are you doing today?
I'm fantastic, gentlemen. How are you?
We're doing great. Loving the
Dave, glad you recovered from last week's beating.
See, I knew it was coming.
We're like George Washington. We just chopped down the tree, buddy.
Oh boy, I was so tempted to just not click that button to bring you into this live, and I'm regretting it already.
Yeah.
Already making him eat his words. I mean, So I know you're a captain, longtime captain of Iowa Kai. In M2M, it's no small task. I almost feel like you guys are more coaches, the way that you bring together the team, especially at Northern Iowa with almost 1,000 alumni. Are there any strategies or things that you implement with your alumni brothers to really motivate them in this tournament?
Yeah, first of all, I mean, I think Jack has has it wired. He's got the formula. Indiana, the same. We're a smaller school. And what we've tried to do is pass along the amount of coaches that we have. And so, I was an official coach 3 years ago. Brother Craig Goose took the reins last year, and then Colonel John Perkins is leading our charge this year. What's nice about that is all three of us are involved, but all three of us have sort of different groups of brothers that we stay in contact with. And so we're able to kind of take the guys that have continued to donate year after year. We keep a list of all of the people who've donated. And then we have text messages and try to continue to build on that every week.
Very nice. Would you consider yourself an assistant coach then, or more of like an assistant to this?
Yeah, I'm more like the manager. I'm doing laundry. I'm folding towels and things like that right now. hey, anything to help the team, Dave.
Of course. Yeah, I'm bear witness to that help. So
yeah.
And you have an interesting situation in the Kerr region. From what I understand, there's a team that just barely keeps getting by, winning that wild card scenario. Alabama versus Indiana State coming up. Do you have any favorites in that matchup?
They keep failing forward. I don't know how a team that hasn't won yet is suddenly in the Sweet 16. I think it's cute. I mean, I welcome them to finally playing in the tournament.
Cute.
Everyone needs a Cinderella. I obviously would love to see Indiana State win again so that we can once again eliminate them. I'm sure they'll get the $2,000. I'm sure Alabama will beat them. I'm sure somehow they'll play Oklahoma next week. I think Killian has some home cooking figuring this thing out.
I have no words.
You always seem to give just enough at the last second to make it to the next round.
Man, all I know is Indiana State's one of the top raisers of this tournament, and it's for a good cause. So I'll clap back at you with that. You know,
I don't know how you got a 5th seed. Have you ever won a game?
Oh yeah, we've been longtime members. This might be our 6th year. I think we've been around longer than you guys. Just raising a little bit less.
I don't know. Might seem like we might need to do some reseeding next year.
Whoa.
I think so.
So, brothers across the realm watching this, can you tell that March of the Madness just brings out all the greatest competitiveness known to SAE?
Absolutely.
How wonderful this is for brothers to really just to go at it.
Yeah.
What a great time
together in unity.
There's no intramurals anymore, you know.
That's right. That's right.
All right.
Well, you want to close out? You got anything for the viewers?
Yeah, I mean, I take, we have a tough match against Texas. Graham down there runs a tough team. They have deep pockets, just like they proved with Arch Manning. I mean, if they want to buy a win, they certainly can. And so, we're going to do our best. Scrappy little school from Cedar Falls, Iowa. We're used to being there.
I'm counting on you guys to take them out, so I believe it.
They're an older group. It's past a lot of their bedtimes at 9:00. So I'm pretty confident we might be able to sneak that in at the win.
Well, you guys are up right now by $100. We'll see.
I know.
We'll see. Like I said before,
we got the powder dry. We got the powder dry.
I love it. All right. Well, thank you for joining us, Matt.
Yeah, you bet, gentlemen. Thank you.
Thanks, Matt.
Quite a diverse group. You went from Skyline Chili to Sister Jean. That is an impressive set of cultural illusions. Well done, gentlemen.
Maybe next time you're on, you'll give us what Northern Iowa.
Bring me on. I'll be a guest anchor.
For sure. What is Northern Iowa famous for? What do you guys got cooking there?
Kurt Warner probably is our most famous transplant.
There you go.
And Bridges of Madison County, which is pathetic. So we'll pick Kurt Warner.
There we go.
All right. Appreciate it, Matt.
Well done.
Thanks, Matt.
All right. And last but not least, going into the Foster region, Dave, I know your favorites, Bucknell, going up against the number 1 seed Nebraska. I always got to give it to the little guy with Bucknell. I'm not really sure what I'm getting. I want to say not Eagles at the end of the day, but that could be wrong. I'm not sure.
Kind of looks like a buffalo or something in that logo. I'm not sure, but
not Eagles it is. I always give it up to the little guy, so that's obviously going to be my pick for the end of the day. But I can't go anywhere without talking about Mount Union versus Western Michigan. Western Michigan, again, getting the wild card. I almost want to have like a special round of just Indiana State and Western Michigan at this point, just to prove who like the true wild card of the tournament is once and for all. But I don't know. This might be a pretty close matchup for Mount Union and Western Michigan. Both schools very similar alumni bases, very involved, very dedicated to their chapters. Could get really interesting here. So looking forward to this Sweet 16 for sure.
Definitely.
Just real quick, since you mentioned wild cards, I know there's some questions on it. If you look under this Sweet 16 graphic, we got 1 wild card and $2,000 does save elimination. So if you're the winning team and you raise $2,000, you are safe. You cannot be knocked out. In theory, if everyone raises $2,000, the winners, then there's no wild card. So will be interesting to see if Indiana State and Western Michigan continue to progress that way.
Absolutely. All right. And as always, March to Madness does go to support our fraternity, our SAU Foundation, scholarships for our undergraduate members, and the annual loyalty fund. They're great causes in constant support of SAE. Dave, Kevin, any final words for us?
Not necessarily. We kind of wrap it up every week with the same message, right? Like all the good that this does for the organization, all the good that this does for the fraternity, and it's good competition. It's healthy competition. But we love to see the level of investment, the level of engagement that we get this time of year. Just what a great competition. So very excited to see what comes out of this week and where we're sitting next week, see where things shake out. But no, very excited. So fire off at everybody. And again, like we said last week, if your team is not in it, if your chapter is not in it, go find one you want to throw your weight behind, go support them. Let's make this interesting. Let's make this a great March of the Madness as we wrap up going into this next round.
Yeah, Indiana State, roll trees. We'll definitely take your funds. we could use all the help we can get against Mother Mew.
All right, gentlemen, thank you very much. Till next time.